Conservatives are continuing to speak out against what they argue is a lengthy and increasingly unnecessary COVID-19 lockdown. The latest to speak out is Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul. Here's One America's John Hines with more from Washington.
I wanted to read you a tweet from Franklin Graham, son of the famous pastor. He said, "It's becoming more obvious to people that the response of some in the government is not just about protecting lives, but it's about control regarding this coronavirus lockdown." Is that an accurate statement in your estimation, sir?
Yeah, we saw Franklin Graham's tweet. In fact, we retweeted it because it really struck a nerve with me that this isn't about health. This is about using health as an excuse for someone to gain control over our lives. And we now have governors, like in our state, the governor has made all of these decisions without consenting the legislature or the people, without asking for any permission. He's making all these decisions. He's shut down every business in Kentucky. He's mandating that everybody wear a mask when they go outside. They've actually gone after families for taking their children to a bank and, threatened them with arrest. I mean, there's all kinds of just craziness that's going on.
What do you hear from, say, small business owners, farmers, others in Kentucky talking about the lockdown?
They want to be left alone. They want to go back to being in America where businessmen and women made their own decisions about their businesses. Look, this is a terrible thing, but in Kentucky, 200 people died. Thousands of people die every year in Kentucky from the flu and other contagious diseases. It doesn't mean that we don't care, but at the same time, we can't just shut our entire economy down, and we're not New York City. We shouldn't have to live under the same regime as New York City, and we shouldn't live under the regime of one person. Our governor is making all these decisions without the consent of the legislature or the mayors or the locals. I think it's just crazy what he's doing to our state, but they're really using the force of government to bully people. It's a big mistake. It's very worrisome. And I think there's also an impulse to authoritarian in some people. They get power and they become drunk with this power. It's, Lord Acton said power is corrupting and absolute power is absolutely corrupting. That's sort of the thing here. People get used to sort of telling people what to do and then they feel morally righteous about it. That was sort of the C.S. Lewis quote that we tweeted out there also, was that the worst kind of busybody, the most oppressive busybody, is the one who thinks that they're morally right. They've got a doctor's note and they're going to do it, but they will do anything to you because they now think they're right. But everybody all of a sudden thinks it's their business to tell you what to do. I mean, our governor's saying he's going to mandate that we wear a mask until a vaccine's discovered. Well, what if a vaccine is never discovered? And what if this virus goes away in 3 months and doesn't come back? Are we still going to be at the behest of the governor? We've got to get under control this idea that we give up emergency powers. It's sort of like giving up our entire republic because there's a bad infection out there. I think it's a terrible, terrible problem.
The President Trump, of course, I think has attempted to articulate this notion. He's been criticized by many. Why do you suppose that is?
Well, the interesting thing is that the president's been very clear when he talks about all of the things that he's talking about we should or ought to do, that there are guidances. In fact, I heard him say the other day that none of the things that he's been talking about have a penalty or jail or a fine to them. He's talking about a guidance. And I think it's okay for public figures. Like, for example, if you were asking me if your mother was 85, should she go to church, to a 2,000-person megachurch right now? I'd probably say better part of valor is probably not to, or if she does, to wear a mask. But if you ask me whether your 18-year-old son should be able to go to college, heck yes. The mortality between 0 and 18 is 0. Nobody has died below 18, at least in New York, in the study recently from New York, out of 25,000 deaths, nobody under 18. Between 18 and 45, only 10 people out of 100,000. That's 0.01%. That doesn't mean it's not deadly for older folks. It is. We need to protect our family and those we know who are in nursing homes, who have diseases and are older. But we shouldn't do it at the expense of having no economy and no freedom. We need to get our young people out to school again. We got to get daycare open. We got to get businesses open. And right now what we're doing is just printing up money and borrowing more money from China. We're now more indebted to China than we've ever been. So the virus comes from China, and now we owe China our livelihood, and we have to write a check to China every month. Interest alone on the debt is now going to probably exceed $1 trillion, just the interest.
Senator Rand Paul, thank you very much for talking to us. It's good to catch up with you, sir.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.